In this video, I'm going to show you the exact setup I used to catch this trade on EUR/USD and this trade on GBP/USD. So both 2%, both taken the exact same way, and I'm going to break it down for you. So starting off with the EUR/USD trade, I always start on the 4-hour time frame to build my overall narrative and directional bias. So this is very simple, it doesn't need to be overcomplicated. What we could see is EUR/USD is in a clear downtrend. We have that break of structure. After a break of structure, we want to have a retracement to 50% of the range, which is over here. And that's all we are looking for. To help us get there, we can identify areas of liquidity, such as these equal highs, these equal highs. We have this supply zone, which is not in premium pricing, so most likely it's going to get liquidated. We have other supply zones up here as well, which can draw price to them in order to cause price to reverse. So that is it. When you're looking for retracement, you're just looking for that minor break to confirm that price is starting to head up higher. You want to see it start to respect demand zones and continue to break structure. So you have another demand here, then break structure there. Have another demand here, which gets liquidated, which is fine, because then we have this break of structure over here. So let me clean this up. Let's zoom in a bit here as well, because obviously this is a bit of messy price action. You might be curious, why didn't we take shorts? How do we know price is going to head up? Because it does look very rangy here, and it's not the cleanest price action, that is true. But after we have this liquidation, we have this break. We do want to see if demand will hold. But ultimately, you have to remember, if this liquidity got swept, there is no more liquidity remaining below. There's no reason for price to actually come down past this demand zone, so we can expect it to hold. It's stronger to target the liquidity above here, and target the supply, because price has been bullish overall and the retracement hasn't been completed yet. So despite this sweep, I'm seeing a lot of bullish momentum, and that's why I have a bullish bias on EUR/USD. So that's it. On the 5-minute, all we're looking for is long confirmations. So that's very simple. Now, obviously, I'm based in the UK, so I wake up at London time, which is perfect. So I wake up in the morning and I'm just looking at what price is doing. So when we wake up, we already see during Asia, we have higher lows, higher highs. Price is starting to push up. When the volume kicks in London, price moves up higher. We start creating these liquidity with these equal highs. We sweep that, right? And a lot of people will be looking for shorts. That is completely understandable, but this is why the higher time frame context is so important, because even if we look at 1 hour or 4 hour, you can see more clearly how bullish price is. So why would price just suddenly start going down? So we ignore that sweep. Even if you wanted to take that short trade, look at this break. You have a weak candle close and then price starts heading up. So that wouldn't convince me that that is a strong minor break. Instead, what I see that as is a sweep of this liquidity over here. So at this point, I'm still not in anything. The confirmation I'm waiting for is this break over here. So that confirms that indeed this sweep of liquidity is a lot stronger than that bearish sweep. So price is more likely to continue heading up higher for the day. So I've just cleaned that all up. Now, at this point, you want to draw your fib. And this is no crazy secret. I'm just using an OTE entry, which some of you might already be familiar with. Or you can take this demand zone, or you can identify these fair value gaps, which show the bullish momentum strength because it's leaving impulsive price behind. So there's multiple ways, and that's the key. Once you know the narrative, it doesn't really matter how you're entering. But I just like to keep it simple. You can just put a limit on the 0.62 stop loss below the sweep, and just target a 1 to 2 risk reward. And that is all that I do. If we play this, you can see that price did come to that demand zone and then start heading up higher. So you could have taken the demand entry as well. Then you let price start pushing up. Once I see this break over here, I would be break even. I'll play this forward, and this is why I'm not too aggressive with my trailing stop loss. You see, usually I would put my trailing stop loss maybe here, because this wick takes out this previous low, so that would be a strong low. However, you can see price came in, tapped that, and then went to TP. So I would have been tagged out of this trade if I was trailing aggressively. But I would say if the price action for the day is very clear that it has a lot of bullish momentum, then just let it breathe, because it means that it's just grabbing that additional liquidity to further fuel the move. And you don't want to get tagged out when that move happens. So these are the kind of days that I like to set and forget. And now let's break down GBP USD. And what you can see is it pretty much played out the exact same way. So we had that here as well. Liquidity was swept. We had that break of structure. Wait for price to retest 0.62, which also lines up with this demand zone. And GU is just a lot cleaner this day. That is also part of why I didn't trail so aggressively on EU, because I saw GU is absolutely flying up. So it did give me that confluence. And yeah, it was another easy 2% on that day. And we can take a look at the higher time frame analysis on GU. You can see it would be exactly the same. We were bearish, but we had that minor break, and we're just targeting 50% of the range. Now GU is interesting because you don't really have any clean supply, so I am expecting price to just continue heading all the way up, because the clearest point of liquidity is above this high, since there's nothing for price to actually reverse from within this leg. So I don't think price will shift bearish just yet until we take out this highest point of liquidity. But that's more long term. But yeah, in case you were curious, most of the time EU and GU will have the same higher time frame narrative. Yeah, that's the very simple setup. Once again, just a sweep, a break, and then a retest of the fib level for a clear 1 to 2. That's the setup that I'm trading every single day. Just super simple and consistent.